All right, well, good afternoon. This is our first day in what we're studying, today's first day, and it's Palm Sunday is what the Passion Week would call it. And this is the very first day of the Passion Week that we're going to be discussing. And next week we'll do day two, or tomorrow we'll do day two, and so forth. But Palm Sunday celebrates Jesus' triumphal entry into Jerusalem. And you can read the account on Palm Sunday in all four Gospels. It's one of the only things of Holy Week, other than the crucifixion and the resurrection, that you can read in all four Gospels. But you could definitely read these if you'd like, if you choose to. We're going to specifically look at Matthew today, and we're going to be reading Matthew chapter 21, starting with verse 1. And I'm going to read it. As they approached Jerusalem and came to Bethphage on the Mount of Olives, Jesus sent 2 disciples, saying to them, "Go to the village ahead of you, and at once you will find a donkey tied there, with her colt by her. Untie them and bring them to me. If anyone says anything to you, say that the Lord needs them, and he will send them right away." This took place to fulfill what was spoken through the prophet. "Say to daughter Zion, see your king comes on a donkey, gentle, and riding on a donkey and on a colt and a foal of a donkey." The disciples went and did as Jesus had instructed them. They brought the donkey and the colt and placed their cloaks on them for Jesus to sit on. A very large crowd spread their cloaks on the road, while others cut branches from the trees and spread them on the road. The crowds that went ahead of him and those that followed shouted, "Hosanna to the Son of David. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Hosanna in the highest heaven." When Jesus entered Jerusalem, the whole city was stirred and asked, "Who is this?" The crowd answered, "This is Jesus, the prophet from Nazareth in Galilee." The Mount of Olives was just east of Jerusalem, and it was separated by a valley called the Kidron Valley. Verses 4 and 5 give us the fulfillment of the prophecy of Passion Week. The Messiah will come riding on a donkey. And we can find that in Zechariah 9:9. It says, "Rejoice greatly, daughter Zion." Zion being Jerusalem, that's what Zion means. "Shout, daughter Jerusalem. See, your king comes to you, righteous and victorious, lowly and riding on a donkey, on a colt, the foal of a donkey." In verse 8, the crowd spread out their cloaks and branches from trees to mark out the path for Jesus, hence how we get the name Palm Sunday. Verse 9, they are shouting praises to Jesus, such as Hosanna to the Son of David, Hosanna in the highest heaven. Luke 19:38 says, "Blessed is the King who comes in the name of the Lord, peace in heaven and glory in the highest." You see, these people believed that Jesus was the Messiah, but they had no idea that their idea of Jesus' kingdom was not an earthly kingdom. They saw him as a king who would overthrow the Roman Empire and restore the kingdom back to the glory days of King David. Jesus was definitely a king, make no mistake about that, but he wanted to overthrow the bondage of sin, not a Roman Empire. And he wanted to set up a spiritual kingdom, a kingdom that would become the church that we would find in Acts chapter 2. Sadly, some of these same individuals who were shouting Hosanna to the Son of David are going to be some of those same individuals who are going to be crying, crucify him later this week. Notice that a donkey was chosen to be the animal to carry Jesus into Jerusalem. You know, most kings would have picked out the best horse that he could find, the strongest looking horse that he could find, and he would have put on the flowing robes and maybe a crown and had this big parade and entourage, but not our king. No, our king chose a donkey, a lowly donkey, and his clothes were no different than those that lined the streets, because Jesus was a king for all the people. Tomorrow we're going to look at day 2. We're going to look at Jesus clearing the temple. And I really look forward to going over this with you again tomorrow. And I do hope that you will share this with your friends And if you're looking for a church home, Sallisaw Church of Christ would love to have you. So I hope everyone has a good start to the week. And